following is a paid program. The views expressed are not necessarily those of the management or ownership of KSTP-AM 1500 ESPN.
The following is a presentation of Cover Your Assets and is offered by Rooker Financial Coaching and Consulting. You're trying to build your income, your business, your life. Challenges are all around you. It seems so overwhelming. People are depending on you. Who do you listen to? Where can you go to find honest, useful information?
Todd Rooker.
For decades, Todd Rooker has been teaching professional education to attorneys, CPAs, bankers, and financial advisors. Rooker Financial Consulting offers advice and coaching to consumers, business owners, and financial professionals on every topic imaginable. If you truly want to succeed, sit back and find out how to cover and build your assets. Here's nationally renowned speaker and expert getting you on the path to financial strength and wealth, Todd Rooker.
Good morning and welcome, everybody. How are you doing in this wonderful Christmas season we have here? This is the end of the year. We are moving on to the first, and all of those spectacular plans for 2023. This is the last Saturday of 2022. I have my co-host, Alicia Webb, the president of Village Bank. Welcome, Alicia.
Hello, how are you, Todd? I was like, is that me? That is
That's
me.
you, that's
Thank
you.
you.
We have a good show lined up this morning. The show is about why giving back makes good business sense. And, you know, Alicia, ordinarily, I'm the guy who says, yeah, screw that. How do we make more money? But the reality is that building relationships, building goodwill is a human thing that is, it proves to be very, very important. And this, certainly, 'tis the season for all of that. And I really do believe that it does make good sense. And so we're going to be talking about this. Village Bank hosts our last Saturday of each month. The show is specifically related to banking, finance, and business for business owners. And Village Bank is a bank that was built by and for entrepreneurs. For more information, you can go to their website, and that is www.villagebankonline.bank. Say that again, www.villagebankonline.bank. As a community bank, we walk the talk when it comes to investing in our community. Today, we share insights on how giving back makes good business sense. Have questions we haven't addressed yet? We want you to know that your vision is our vision for your business, and you can contact us at any time with additional questions. Send an email, a call, leave a message, or go to LinkedIn, and we will be sure to address your questions in the future. So let's talk about giving back and how that might be beneficial, not just as obviously it's something that you want to do as a human being, but it's also really beneficial for a business. Why is that?
Well, obviously there's data around giving and showing unity, et cetera. But I think it's especially in this time of the year, Todd, it's about, we're blessed, right? And it doesn't matter if we're talking, 3 zeros, 4 zeros, 6 zeros, 8 zeros. I mean, we're all very, very blessed. And I think it's that human connection. Earlier this week, I was with a very successful client, and you'd think we'd be talking about balance sheet and equity and, what's he going to buy next year? That's how the conversation started. But it ended with, where is he giving back? And he's feeling the sense of pride in giving back to his children's school right now because he's grateful his kids are there learning what they're learning, and he wants to make sure that others around him have an opportunity to send their kids to that school too. And so he's doing scholarships and he's giving back, and that's what makes him feel good, and that's the connection that he has. And I think that when you can find people that you work next to, you work with, you work for, and you can find that common passion, it makes you work that much harder, right? Because you know that your dollars are going to something you believe in besides a utility bill, besides a mortgage, besides those things, right? And it feels good. I mean, period. It feels good.
I think I have some profound thoughts around this, because number one, a lot of people in small businesses at many different levels or echelons, that in all fairness, most small business owners, and I mean small business owners, are more often as I love to call them, practitioners more than they are business-minded people. And so the idea of giving, being driven to succeed as a passion, really resonates with these people, even though they may not be doing that well personally from a financial perspective. So you've got that going on. You've also got the idea that when you do begin to succeed, it kind of becomes an issue of, okay, what's next? In other words, when you earn a certain level of income where you pretty much have everything that you want, and yes, making another $1 million would be nice, but it's really not going to make a big impact in your life. The goal of succeeding sometimes has to take on another form or another measure. And oftentimes what you're thinking is, I am driven and motivated passionately towards giving and providing help to these people or to these groups. And so if somebody says, hey, I would like, what my ultimate dream is? I'd like to be able to give away $1 million to United Way. Well, then if we determine that you're going to give away 10% of your profit margin, what does that mean if 10% represents $1 million? Means you need to make this much more money. And the interesting thing about that is that goal of giving might be more of a driver than simply making more money, because this is something that you can look to, and you've got this metric that you can measure, and you say, this is what I want to do. I want to be able to give away this much money. I want to be able to give away this percentage. And that number at this percentage means that I've got to produce this much to be able to accomplish that. And that is the thing that then becomes the thing that motivates them on to next levels. What do you think about that?
Whoa, I think that was a lot. I was listening to you going, how the heck do I even figure that out? No, I hear you. And yes, it's if I'm going to give away 10%, how do I make 10% more? How do I increase the margin over a certain amount of time? Yes, yes, and yes. But listen, we're in the Christmas season, and I think that it's that soft fuzzy area too, where it's like, gosh, what just really feels good right now? Let me share a couple examples. I was just sharing with one of my coworkers that it was the first time ever. I have a 5 and an 8-year-old, and that we went out and we got some toys to donate, and no one said, I want that. Why don't I get that? I want that. For the first time, they started to understand that we're blessed. We're blessed because we have a warm place to sleep, food on our table, and there's other people that aren't, and it's important to give to others. And that translates to, I think of our team every single Christmas season for as many years as I can remember. Village Bank partners with Achieve, and Achieve helps adults who need to go out and find work, mentally challenged adults who need to go out and find work. And with the government, government funding has gone away, so they take on a lot of private donations. It's something that's very, very important to Don Queton, our CEO. And so we sell nuts in all of our lobbies, and a lot of our business clients come in and buy nuts and give them to their staff, and they're the people that they work with. And we sell them and we give them out to our customers and on calls, et cetera. And we end up donating thousands and thousands of dollars. And it's great because then we get to go there. We get to see the impact of the work, the impact of the money. When I was there this year, I partnered them with Legacy Christian Academy. Hopefully there'll be some internship opportunities. So sometimes that giving piece isn't just about here's 10% of $1 million, or even here's some donations for kids. It's how do you make connections and partnerships in your community between these organizations who might have something to give, like a student looking for an internship, and an Achieve who needs some help with software or databases or Excel spreadsheets. Like how do we partner and really help give? There's lots of ways to give, right? They say it's your time, your treasure, or your talent. There's lots of ways to give, and I think that at Village, I'm really excited because there is an opportunity for us to all give back in different ways. We'll raise money on Jeans Days, and then I don't decide where that money is going. Don doesn't decide where that money is going. Our teams will vote, and the money will go to wherever they vote. They voted for money to go to 2 to 3 places.
Wow.
And it's fun because it's something that they can get behind. And it's interesting, Todd. One thing I learned was we can have our village values and say, this is who we are. We're all villagers. We put relationships first. We earn it. We own it. We're building something special, and we always do the right thing. But what that means that means something different to everyone. It means putting relationships first might mean something to Don, supporting Achieve. And to me, maybe it's giving back to a school and helping kids feel secure and safe, right? And so let's expand on those values and really support the beliefs of our entrepreneurs, the beliefs of our villagers, and the beliefs of our community. And it doesn't always have to be those dollars. It can be talent, treasure, and it can also be our time. And some of my most favorite times at the bank is watching our villagers give back in ways that I didn't even know existed. But it's in their heart and it's their beliefs. And I think that's really important, especially as we look at the economy and we all talk about inflation and where rates are going. And gosh, consumer spending's up, but so are credit card spendings and credit card applications. And everyone's worried about what happens after Christmas season is over, quarter 1, 2, and 3 of next year. I think it's important to remember that even if you were able to go buy that gift this Christmas season and quarter 2 of next year you can't, there's still ways to give. What is your talent and who needs that? Where's your time and how could you spend it giving back? That's important because even in tough times, it's like that's the stuff that's in your heart and it's important to share that.
Well, I can certainly see how this is something that a company and many people can get behind. I also can see how it can build team within a company. Having a cause that is beyond the business itself, that people can draw camaraderie between them. Yeah,
and being a leader, especially in something like that, that's not about a title. Like I don't lead that. I mean, we've got great team members that jump on board and lead those initiatives, lead our villagers, our village volunteers, and they find where they're going to go and they're going to volunteer. And that is so dynamic to watch.
Well, that's an interesting thing because other people now get to step up to a leadership role that they wouldn't otherwise.
Yes, and they're leading that team and they're organizing and they're looking at budget and time planning and all of that. And then, like as a president, putting myself back in a role, I get to say, that's interesting. If she can do that over there, wonder what she do over here, right? And so it's so fun that once someone gets to live out their beliefs, what they believe in their heart, and they get to see it come to fruition, you see all new talent, all new leadership arise.
It is really interesting. As Americans, we have always been, or at least I've always felt, that there is a pride in America that we give. We I don't mean we give where, we pay our taxes and we give. I mean, we give outside of that. We're a giving nation. And so I think a lot of people, business owners and their employees as well, have this intrinsic desire within them, whether they've ever exercised or used it. I think it's there. And when you create an initiative within a company, I'll just say it again, it really creates team and really creates a different level maybe of relationship between your team and coworkers, and that in and of itself is a perfect example of why giving back makes good business sense.
Absolutely. I mean, living in abundance is so important to teach. I think, and personally, I think it's not living wastefully. It's not living, buying anything, but living in abundance, not being afraid to give. It always comes back to you in many, many different ways.
Well, another thing that comes to mind is when folks are doing this, their kids are watching them.
Yes.
And they are engendering the very things in those children because those children have seen their parents do it. And, the best, the reality of life is that you never really, I don't think, you never really have the luxury of just doing whatever you want without any consideration for what other people think, because people are always watching, and most importantly, your children. You can say all you want, but what you do is what they learn. And being a giving person, if you wanted to develop a child as your gift to the world, which I really think they are, then you would want to show them the things that they would want to do. And giving is certainly on top on that list, isn't it?
We all know how it feels to receive, but what a gift to teach your children what it feels like to give.
Yeah.
I mean, that I hear you, and that's the part that's so difficult today because we live in a society of wanting more and more. And how do we teach, or how do we mentor, and how do we show to want less and to give to others? And I appreciate you saying that, because I think as a parent today, you look around and you look at social media. I mean, we talk about social media all the time on this show and all the great things around it, but it's also social media can represent a lot of want, more,
And
more.
me. Yeah.
Yeah. And how do we say put relationships first? And is that person over there, do they have enough to eat? You know, what is their experience in this world and how can we help them grow that? And again, I want to put, it's not always about money, right? It's not always about money. I do think it's about talent and I do think it's about time.
We're going to take a break here. We're going to talk more about this. I think we've brought up some excellent points here as it relates to how giving can be actually a really wise and intelligent decision from a business perspective. And I don't want to dement it in the way that, hey, it's all about business. Resonates throughout the. So we're going to talk some more about that. We'll be right back with Alicia Webb, president of Village Bank. This is Village Bank Radio, last Saturday of December, last Saturday of the year. And hope you're making plans for 2023 and hope that 2022 has been fabulous. We'll be right back. Does your sump pump run constantly? Do you want to ensure that you never have a damp, musty-smelling basement? These issues are caused by water coming off your roof, draining into your basement. Gutters can resolve these problems. William Foss is the owner of Seamless Solutions. He is honest and trustworthy. He is simply the best. If you need gutters or leaf covers, he is the guy to call. You can call him at 612-834-0664 or go to his website, seamlesssolutionsmn.com.
Are you looking for a bank that supports entrepreneurs like you? If you're searching for a bank to grow with you and your business, I would like to welcome you to our Village Bank. Hi, I'm Alicia Webb, President and Vice Chair of Village Bank. I'm honored to lead Village Bank, an entrepreneur's bank that was built by an entrepreneur and for entrepreneurs. Starting a business and then maintaining it requires mindset. It's important for business owners to realize that financial statements aren't just for their bankers and accountants. Knowing your numbers will help build the foundation for you and a healthy and successful business. You don't have to be a financial expert nor a banker, but you do need to understand a few key financial documents and metrics to make your business successful. Follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn or visit us at villagebankonline.com. It takes a village to accomplish your business goals. And be sure to tune in to Cover Your Assets the last Saturday of every month to fill your entrepreneurial cup of ambition and start your Saturday off right with me, Alicia Webb, and our Village Bank.
Fix Auto has been the collision repair leader in the Twin Cities for over 40 years. Hi, I'm Matt Feehan, second-generation owner. Our mission at Fix Auto is to provide you with the simplest collision repair experience anywhere. If you're in an accident and you need help, my team is here and ready for you. You can find us on the web at fixautousa.com. That's fixautousa.com. We are Fix Auto, home of the WOW experience.
He can lift a bus straight over his head. He can fly around the world in seconds. And he has the power to regenerate entire limbs.
Okay, so Jason Walgrave isn't actually a superhero. But once you visit his website to find out what he knows about real estate, you may start to think he's superhuman. That's because at jasonwalgrave.com, you'll find absolutely anything you need to know about real estate in the Twin Cities. Whether you're looking to buy or sell your home, check out jasonwalgrave.com, the #1 place for all your real estate questions.
Finding a good banker and CPA are like having a good doctor or mechanic. You cannot fully appreciate the value they represent until you're in a pinch and truly need them. However, that's not the time to go looking for one. Instead, you want to position and strategize well in advance for a favorable outcome. CPA Arliss Cleveland of Arliss Cleveland LTD is the CPA firm you've been looking for. As many of you already know, if you're looking for a great CPA, Arliss Cleveland gets my highest endorsement. Arliss Cleveland LTD has now formed a strategic relationship with Village Bank, conveniently located in the Village Bank building, located at 9298 Central Avenue North, Suite 412, Blaine, Minnesota. You can also find Arliss Cleveland LTD certified public accountants and consultants by going to accountingoffices.net or by simply calling 763-786-0639. That contact information again, accounting-offices.net or by simply calling 763-786-0639. I have trusted attorney Brian Aho for more than 10 years to work closely with me to resolve and eliminate debt for many of my personal and business clients. Aho Law Office is the go-to firm I choose because Brian has always been caring and compassionate with my clients, while tenaciously fighting to retain as much of their assets as possible while quickly eliminating their debt. Brian's extensive experience and knowledge of bankruptcy law and willingness to fight allow him to resolve challenges and cases that many attorneys won't. Don't let other attorneys learn on your dime. Rely on the experience of Aho Law Office to help you achieve relief from your creditors. Competent, compassionate legal advocates providing the clarity to protect tomorrow. For more information, call Brian and his staff at 612-271-4047 or email Brian directly at brian@aholawoffice.com. Again, that number, 612-271-4047.
You're listening to Cover Your Assets with Todd Rooker.
And welcome back. Welcome back to the last Saturday of the year and last day of the year. Is that right? Last day of the year?
100% right.
Oh, man.
Confirmed.
Oh, man. So, okay.
2022.
It's just, I don't know how that happens.
Goodbye.
I mean, it's literally funny because we were talking about, it seems to me we were just wrapping up the previous year, and now we're wrapping up 2022. It's kind of hard to believe. Mm-hmm. So we, as always, at our break, sometimes talk about the most valuable topics, and this particular one is it, which is that when you are a company who engages in meaningful charitable giving, you become more attractive to potential employees or folks who might want to join the team, right?
Absolutely. I mean, if you were to go into an interview with a company and they said, just be quiet, enjoy working here, but we don't want to know what you're interested in or what your beliefs are. Just be quiet and do your job. How would that work, right? And so it's really important, even during that interview process, as we talk about our village values and we talk about what does relationships mean to you and where do you have relationships outside of...
I had that very thing in the military, you know.
That's a whole nother show, Todd. But it's important. I mean, what do you value? And, you know, how do you put relationships first in your community? I mean, we are a community bank first and foremost. If you live in our community, we all care about the same streets, the same schools, the same parks, you know, the police, the fire work. We want to feed our community with knowledge and security and food. And that's part of being a community bank. And we want to know that we're hiring people that support that and then allow them to go do it with their time, their treasure, and their talent.
You know, we all give away so much of our lives to the time that we spend engaged in our job or profession. It's so great when you can feel fulfilled and happy about what that company represents and how that company is actually, you know, community driven, as you say. You know, who doesn't want to patronize a business? Who hasn't considered patronizing a small business where you know maybe you're not paying the same amount, you're paying a little more than you are for the big box stores, but it's because you want to support that local community and have that local community feel. So as a business, engaging that is going to be very attractive to those who are considering or aspiring to work for you.
We want A players, and in order to have A players at our village, we need to be an A player in the community and listen when they're asking for something and listen. Now, we might not always be able to do everything, but it's important for us to say, here's a couple of things that we can do this year. You pick what those are. Here's our budget. Go have some fun. We did that for Veterans Day this year where we gave each villager $50 and we said, go contribute, whether it's yourself as a group, whatever you want to do. And how are you going to contribute to a veteran this year to say thank you? And lots of fun stuff. Folks made food. Folks made blankets. They made posters. They went out to Fort Snelling. They donated. Lots of great ideas that folks came up with, villagers came up with. And more importantly, there were a couple villagers that said thank you. Like, thank you for giving me this day to spend it with my son. My son's had a lot of issues since he came home. He was overseas 2 times, and I didn't think I was going to get to spend the day with him, and now I can. And I mean, those are the things like, you don't know how important it is to someone, right? And so those are the pieces that, how do we continue to let our villagers give back in the ways that are meaningful to them? You know, that gives them something, and they don't feel like they need to be quiet then.
I think it makes it easier for an employee to be passionate when their company is engaging in things that are at a higher level. They're not just about profits, but it's got this another thing that drives them and makes it easier for them to be passionate about what they do on a daily basis.
It's interesting. We're in banking, so banking has a lot of rules, regulations, all that good stuff. And we have rules at Village Bank, and what we've been trying to do more of, and maybe this is a way of giving, is if you speak up, tell us why, right? Like, why is it important that you're spending, a day here, or you want to contribute here? And every time, I'll be honest, like when we get to hear that, Todd, it always makes sense. It's common sense. Do the right thing. And it's so important to have, whether you're at Village Bank or another great community bank, it's important that we listen to team members and colleagues and listen to why they believe that and why it's important to contribute there. I mean, it'll pay back 10 times over.
Many dividends.
Yeah,
We brought this up earlier, but I think it's worth just stating specifically, and that is that it builds customer loyalty. When studies show that when consumers like the things that your business supports, they are more willing to invest in your business, your product, and your service because they want to patronize those things. I know we said that, but it is absolutely true.
Yeah.
They really do, and it does matter. So,
well, we talk about trying to recruit right now. Have the right kind of culture that supports where your employees want to contribute back to. We talk about how do we gain more market share. Have a company that is going to give back to the community. You'll automatically find those matches that want to do business with you.
It's also something worth stating that the actual effort and thought that goes into it often can be a determining factor too, because I'll just tell you that I am a big advocate of giving people, teaching people how to fish as opposed to feeding them fish, And so the causes that I think are most useful are for either, number one, younger people who are going to benefit and go out into the world and make something happen as a result. And then, of course, there's those who simply cannot do for themselves. I'm not an advocate of supporting people who could do for themselves and don't do for themselves. But for those who are, for me, tunnels to towers and things like that, I think those are fabulous opportunities. But I'll tell you what, the school thing that you brought up, oh boy, I think that's just tremendous. And I am drawn to, if your business supports these things, because it's kind of like the Gates Foundation that gives away money, but it's more like they don't just give money. They then monitor your success and determine if they're going to continue to give you more if you're taking that and using it in a fulfilling and successful way. So that's an interesting thing as well. There's tax benefits to giving this money. In other words, I can give the money to taxes, or I can do something myself and control the direction to it. I can do that through.
Let me be careful. So I love it because, our team helps brainstorm some ideas here. And yes, you and I could talk about the tax benefits all day. But what I will say is, if you're like, wait, what? Todd said tax benefits? Let's give Arliss a call. People will smell that a mile away, right? And so I always go back to, what are your values? What do you believe in? And if you're not sure what you believe in, go ask some folks that work, to your left and your right, and ask them what they believe in, and start doing that then. Because the tax benefits, yes, there's tax benefits to it. With that being said, people will smell that a mile away. It's got to be sincere.
Well, I think that, I think that a business probably pays more mind to that than an individual consumer does. The thing that I would only say about that is, if I give with after-tax dollars, I would have, if under the same circumstances of being able to deduct something, I can give more with the same amount of money, or I can give less. That's what I would say to that.
Yes, and if we look at the visibility of your company, rather than just talking about, hi, I'm Joe the plumber and I'm the best plumber, in town, it's, hi, I'm Joe the plumber and we just donated, X amount of dollars, which fed 1,000 families this Christmas. thank you for doing business with us and supporting those 1,000 families, right?
I'm just smiling. Joe Berg from Always Plumbing is a client of mine.
Well, there you go, Joe. Give me a call. Free plug.
All right. So encourage team members to volunteer. This is really something that's near and dear to my heart. As some of you know who listen to the show, I have a son who was born with cerebral palsy. And, it is for anybody who is, for anybody. There's a lot of people who get really depressed during this time of the year. You want to get out of that depression? Go and start giving of yourself to those who are even less fortunate, and you will move on from that depression very, very quickly. And so I am a huge advocate of companies taking their employee staff out on a weekend and maybe running a food line, or maybe doing cleanup, or maybe doing things like that, but helping other people who are in a really challenged situation so that they fully appreciate that as bad as they think they have it, it might not be nearly as bad as it could be.
I could not agree more. And the earlier you start that, the better. We are so blessed and so fortunate. And to have our feet and be able to walk and be able to run and be able to skip and jump and speak and eat and, drive here in a car even.
Absolutely.
There's a lot to be thankful for. And this is a really good time that if people forget that, to go out and look around.
It is. We're going to take another break here. We're talking about why charitable gifting could be beneficial to your company. But we're also talking about the fact that it just makes you feel good. Yeah, we'll be right back. Hey, are you considering something exceptional to set your home apart and highlight its curb appeal? How about the rich look of custom copper gutters? Copper gutters are not only beautiful, they also offer timeless durability. William Voss with Gutter Solutions installed my beautiful copper gutters. I get compliments every day. If you're looking for extraordinary craftsmanship and would like to consider something truly special, call him at 612-834-0664 or go to their website, seamlesssolutionsmn.com. Ask for Billy.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Nybo with the Kimberly Nybo Insurance Agency, serving the community for over 27 years. People tend to be most concerned with price. That is, of course, until something goes wrong. Then the only thing they care about is their coverage. My experience enables me to uncover every available discount. I could save you up to 40% while still offering the proper coverage for the people you care about. Call today for a free review at 763-571-6111 or email me at kim@kimnybo.com.
Hi, this is Troy Danner of Danner's Cabinet Shop. My family has been building custom cabinets and countertops for homes in Minnesota for over 50 years. We still make the cabinets the way my grandpa did when he founded our company. My team of skilled craftsmen pride themselves on attention to detail and making sure every element of your project goes perfectly. Give me a call at 763-753-4002 or visit us online at dannerscabinets.com.
Mike Overson here of Minnesota Home Talk. With today's housing market, buying a house is a competition. To win in a multiple offer situation, you have to work with a local lender who has the reputation of being 100% reliable. Come to the winning team. Get pre-approved for your loan by one of the top lenders in the nation, the Mike Overson Mortgage Team at Luminate Home Loans. We will help you win. Call me at 612-202-8321. That's Mike Overson at 612-202-8321 or go to applywithmike.com.
Todd Rooker here to tell you about the most amazing jewelry store, Golden Treasures on 805 Grand Avenue in St. Paul. I've known the owner, Todd Gimble, for almost 20 years now, and at Golden Treasures, not only do you get more for less, it's the experience that you and your special person will feel when you walk in the door. Todd truly puts his heart and soul into creating your experience regardless of how much money you spend. This is Todd's customer for life philosophy. Take it from me, there really is no other jewelry store. You can't go wrong with Golden Treasures in St. Paul. 651-227-2711. That's 651-227-2711. Finding a good banker and CPA are like having a good doctor or mechanic. You cannot fully appreciate the value they represent until you're in a pinch and truly need them. However, that's not the time to go looking for one. Instead, you want to position and strategize well in advance for a favorable outcome. CPA Arliss Cleveland of Arliss Cleveland LTD is the CPA firm you've been looking for. As many of you already know, if you're looking for a great CPA, Arliss Cleveland gets my highest endorsement. Arliss Cleveland LTD has now formed a strategic relationship with Village Bank, conveniently located in the Village Bank building, located at 9298 Central Avenue North, Suite 412, Blaine, Minnesota. You can also find Arliss Cleveland LTD certified public accountants and consultants by going to accountingoffices.net or by simply calling 763-786-0639. That contact information again, accounting-offices.net, or by simply calling 763-786-0639.
You're listening to Cover Your Assets with Todd Rooker.
Welcome back, folks. So this is the last Saturday of the month, last day of the year, and certainly the last show, Saturday show, and that means that it is Village Bank Radio. And we are talking about charitable gifting, the great feelings that one has, and also the ability to build team and to build a company and create a presence in the community that is also beneficial to the business itself. Not necessarily that that's the reason that you do it, but it certainly has wonderful, wonderful things that take place as a result. Now, I personally give, if you've ever seen me wear this Warrior's Heart, this is something that is for struggling veterans. I give to Wounded Warrior.
Yeah.
And I give to Tunnels to Towers. I do that regularly. What are some of the things and organizations that you give to, and tell me a little bit about some of those experiences?
Yeah, that's great. My husband has done a couple of, I think they have some golf tournaments and they have some different events around town. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's done a couple of those too, and he's always, whenever he gets home, they always have someone, that has had a struggle from fighting for our freedom, and he comes home with those stories in his head, and it's like, oh my gosh, Alicia, we are so blessed. And so I'm glad you brought that up, Todd. I think it goes back to that. There's a couple different ways to give. Is it your time? Is it your treasure? Or is it your talent? And for some, treasure is the easiest, right? Because I can write the check and be good. And you know what? That is great. And I encourage you, if you do not have, I don't want to say don't have the talent, but you don't have the time to share your talent right now, entrepreneurs, because things are busy, rates are going up, and you're not in a fixed loan. Put a regular ACH on your account. We could help you with that at Village, but then give every month, the 5th of the month, the 15th of the month, hell, the 5th and the 15th of the month. Go give to something that, makes your heart feel a little bit better. Tell your children about it, tell your spouse about it, tell your neighbor about it. There's nothing wrong with giving a treasure and saying that's what I have time for today. I also think there's your talent. And so right now you might not be in the position to give as much treasure. So maybe you're giving your talent in different ways. I've seen talent is at, we had a great group at Village Bank that went out and worked with junior achievement. So they went into Minneapolis and, they taught some basic lessons on money, on compounding interest, on how expensive things are. How do you build a budget for your home when you're going to move out and you're going to go to college? What do things cost? I've gone and worked with Spring Lake Park on business plans for DECA or job interviewing for DECA. In January, we're going to be doing a Shark Tank where, we're on a panel judging for their students that have new business ideas. And so there's lots of different ways that you can go give your talent and help teach another person what you know. And I'll be honest with you, I've learned so much more from those circumstances and those opportunities than I think I've ever taught. It's just fascinating when you see young people and the questions they ask you and the way they look at things so differently. I mean, you want to grow your business, you want to figure out what's coming and who you need to hire. Ding, ding, ding. Like, go work at your local community college, local high school, etc. And then, of course, there's always your time. How can you give your time? Maybe it's packing bags that feed your starving children. Maybe it's cleaning up the side of the road with your team, right? Or your kids. There's lots of different ways you can give your time as well. I'd encourage you, go to your local school where your kids are, your grandkids are, your nieces and nephews are. They always need help in the lunchrooms. They always need help picking up the school grounds. They always need help. How can you get involved there? There's lots of ways to give your time, your treasure, and your talent.
And it is one and the same because it's your resources that you have, and whatever works for you is great. And do be aware that your resources being your time, giving of your time, giving of your money, giving of your talent. All of those things are all incredibly valuable, and if you can do all three, that's great. But do be focused on the idea that you want to create enough stability in your own life financially that you're in a position to do that. Because it is an issue where sometimes you'll find that people are giving to organizations that, quite frankly, they would qualify for. Because they are not focused on creating stability in their own lives, and you do always want to be conscious of that. So one of the things you brought up is teaching money and finance and budgeting to smaller kids. I'm going to be honest, folks. I don't know if I can come up with anything that's more useful. I think that regardless of what they're in, they need to learn how to do that, and then that gives them the power and the stability and the strength to be givers in the future.
We go to Target, my kids will ask for things, and I will say, no, I cannot afford that. And I watch if my mom's with me cringe or people cringe around me because it's not popular to say I can't afford that. Todd, I can't afford that. If my kids are going to go to school, if they're going to go to college one day, if I'm going to have the savings that I need to retire one day, I cannot afford that. It is okay to say no. And I think being proud to say no is okay, to show other parents and kids it's okay to say no. I love what you said. Too often I've been sitting somewhere where, go around the table and everyone should give, or we're all asking for money. It is okay to say no, or it is okay to give the $10 rather than the $20. I think the worst thing you can do is to give time, treasure, and talent, and when you don't have it. Because then you don't feel good about it. And then it becomes something I'm supposed to do to keep up with the Jones, or I have to do because I'm feeling pressured. Give where you want. What is your belief? If your belief, for me, is a lot is around my children's school and making them feel safe and secure. So that's where my time goes, my talent goes to our local school districts, because I care so much about the next generation coming up and what are we giving to them. I don't give to a lot of other things because I can't afford it. I can only afford so much. There's nothing wrong with teaching kids that you make money. There's something that you spend on your bills. There's a portion that you're going to spend to have a little fun. And then there's a portion that you keep to give to others. You're teaching
fiscal responsibility. That's what you're doing. You're teaching fiscal responsibility.
And so how can we, and think about it, like, you can't go in and teach that, but then go and be like double, triple mortgage and have all this debt too.
Right.
It's okay to say no. And I think more people have to be comfortable with saying, I can't afford it.
I think too often people get caught up in the situation where they give because they want to prove that they can, less about making intelligent decisions about where that's going to do the most good. And what I really can, in a very solid and confident way, say, yes, I can afford to do this, and no, I can't afford to do this. That is fiscal responsibility. I think we got too many people who don't understand that, maybe in government, forgive me for that. But it is, there's nothing wrong with that. You picking and choosing where your money's going to go and then taking an active role in seeing how that is deployed and how that succeeds. That's kind of what I was talking about teaching people how to fish as opposed to feeding them. Teach them how to fish for life, and rather than feeding them for a meal. And that's why when I think about giving money, I want to be able to accomplish that thing if I can.
Absolutely. I think we need to be an example, and sharing, the financial knowledge that you have, that's something that more young people need to know. I mean, I would get homework from my kids and I'm like, I don't know, can I Google this? But where are the basics on compounding interest? Where are the basics on how are you going to budget? Where are the basics on if your interest rate goes up by 3% in a year, what are you going to do? Like, that's the kind of stuff we have to talk about.
I think it's interesting because you and I are both MBAs, and nobody in graduate school teaches you the bottom line basics of how to create stability and security in your life. It's not even about that. And honestly, that's what everybody wants. That's exactly what people want. So teaching young people that is everything. So at your company, one of the things you could implement right now is to launch a charity drive that involves a whole bunch of folks that everybody could get behind and could build team. So if you're sitting there saying, what could we do right now today? I would say that is one of your action steps right there.
That's what we did. We started with Achieve years ago, where they put up little tables in our lobby. We got cashews and M&Ms, mixed nuts, all this fun stuff that everyone wants. You throw it in your car, you can eat all the time, right? right? It's great. You can give it away to a client and say, hey, I just donated money on your behalf. Thank you. Go, if you're a business, go find something like that. Go find something in your community. What are you passionate about? See if they're selling something. See if there's, we've sold little buses that people get to put their name on, and we put them up all over our lobbies for Achieve. But everyone gets behind it. Our lobbies have contests on who sells the most, and then we get to go there and we get to donate a big check to them. And they are so grateful.
And that's
for
going
it.
out throughout the course of the entire year.
So
right?
we are doing just the nuts during December, but it's wonderful. We know it's always coming. Everyone saves up their money and buys them, and then we know which customers we're calling to tell them the Achieve nuts are back in the lobby. And it's just a thing that we do now. But it's become more than just selling something and getting a donation.
Well, hey, there you go, man. So and you can, and so you could. As she's talking about the time that is associated with when they do certain things, maybe there's nothing wrong with doing one or two or things quarterly each year where you've always got an initiative that goes beyond the company to push forward, to succeed as a business, and then to give as a result of that success. So there's a lot to that. So go green. How about that? How could we go green? More and more employers and consumers are appreciative of companies that are socially responsible about the environment. So how could you implement an initiative like that? How could you work with another company, maybe buying products or services from them because they have determined to go green? How about that?
So if you have no idea what you should do to go green, call a local nonprofit and ask them what they're doing. The easiest way is to partner. Ask a millennial that's in your office, what should we do? That is by far the easiest thing, because even sometimes when I hear this, I'm like, does that mean no more styrofoam cups? Like, what does that actually mean? Does that mean go, clean up a road? What does that actually mean? So since I am not as knowledgeable, I'll humbly admit that, I go to my team and say, what should we be doing different? And so we did a big green initiative at the bank, and they told me all the things I need to start doing different. And I'll be honest, I learned a lot.
Well, there's, and there are so many really good employees who are, engineers and scientists who will go to work for a company because they are this, like maybe Tesla or something like that, because they believe in the initiative behind the company.
Yeah, we actually had some interns that ran that program for us because they were the best. They knew the most, and it was fantastic. We all learned a lot.
Well, you don't know what you don't know, so it's worthwhile. We're going to take another break here. We're going to come back and wrap up our last segment of the show, talking about how you as a company can gift to not only better the company, build the team, but also just to feel like you're supporting the community locally, and it will pay you back in dividends. We'll be right back.
Hello, I'd like to talk with you about financial coaching. Traditional financial planners help you make decisions about stocks, bonds, and mutual funds with money you already have. That's great, but who helps you accumulate more money in the first place? Who helps you make day-by-day life decisions? Who isn't trying to sell you something? Like, should I go back to school? Am I wasting money on insurance? How to purchase and finance a car, boat, home, lake cabin, or investment property? How to start, manage, and sell a business? It's about making minor errors that become colossal mistakes and cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. The problem is that you're so busy pursuing your career that you're forced to make critical financial decisions that have a dramatic long-term effect on your finances without adequate research or information. Rooker Financial Coaching is like having a personal CFO for every decision. Don't waste time lamenting the bad decisions of the past or money that's run through your fingertips. Stop procrastinating. Call Rooker Financial Coaching, 763-559-3800. That's 763-559-3800. Call me today, Todd Rooker, 763-559-3800. That's 763-559-3800.
I have trusted attorney Brian Aho for more than 10 years to work closely with me to resolve and eliminate debt for many of my personal and business clients. Aho Law Office is the go-to firm I choose because Brian has always been caring and compassionate with my clients, while tenaciously fighting to retain as much of their assets as possible while quickly eliminating their debt. Brian's extensive experience and knowledge of bankruptcy law and willingness to fight allow him to resolve challenges and cases that many attorneys won't. Don't let other attorneys learn on your dime. Rely on the experience of Aho Law Office to help you achieve relief from your creditors. Competent, compassionate legal advocates providing the clarity to protect tomorrow. For more information, call Brian and his staff at 612-271-4047 or email Brian directly at brian@aholawoffice.com. Again, that number, 612-271-4047. Todd Rooker here to tell you about the most amazing jewelry store, Golden Treasures on 805 Grand Avenue in St. Paul. I've known the owner, Todd Gimble, for almost 20 years now, and at Golden Treasures, not only do you get more for less, it's the experience that you and your special person will feel when you walk in the door. Todd truly puts his heart and soul into creating your experience regardless of how much money you spend. This is Todd's customer for life philosophy. Take it from me, there really is no other jewelry store. You can't go wrong with Golden Treasures in St. Paul. 651-227-2711. That's 651-227-2711.
Are you looking for a bank that supports entrepreneurs like you? If you're searching for a bank to grow with you and your business, I would like to welcome you to our village, Village Bank. Hi, I'm Alicia Webb, President and Vice Chair of Village Bank. I'm honored to lead Village Bank, an entrepreneur's bank that was built by an entrepreneur and for entrepreneurs. Starting a business and then maintaining it requires mindset. It's important for business owners to realize that financial statements aren't just for their bankers and accountants. Knowing your numbers will help build the foundation for you and a healthy and successful business. You don't have to be a financial expert nor a banker, but you do need to understand a few key financial documents and metrics to make your business successful. Follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn or visit us at villagebankonline.com. It takes a village to accomplish your business goals. And be sure to tune in to Cover Your Assets the last Saturday of every month to fill your entrepreneurial cup of ambition and start your Saturday off right with me, Alicia Webb, and our village, Village Bank.
Fix Auto has been the collision repair leader in the Twin Cities for over 40 years. Hi, I'm Matt Feehan, second generation owner. Our mission at Fix Auto is to provide you with the simplest collision repair experience anywhere. If you're in an accident and you need help, my team is here and ready for you. You can find us on the web at fixautousa.com. That's fixautousa.com. We are Fix Auto, home of the WOW experience.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Nybo with the Kimberly Nybo Insurance Agency, serving the community for over 27 years. People tend to be most concerned with price. That is, of course, until something goes wrong. Then the only thing they care about is their coverage. My experience enables me to uncover every available discount. I could save you up to 40%, while still offering the proper coverage for the people you care about. Call today for a free review at 763-571-6111 or email me at kim@kimnybo.com.
You're listening to Cover Your Assets with Todd Rooker.
Hey, welcome back. So we're going to wrap this up. This is the last show of 2022. This is the last show. Been a lot of years doing this. I think I'm rolling into, I believe, the 12th or 13th year of doing this. So it's been a long running show. I have enjoyed it very much. And the giving side that we are covering today with Alicia, who is the president of Village Bank, is something that is near and dear to my heart and a lot of other people. I do want to say something just on my own here. If you know of any veterans, I would make an extreme effort to reach out to veterans, anybody who even you think is remotely struggling. There's way too many suicides that take place with veterans in general, let alone this time of the year. And save one person, you save the world. And I sincerely mean that. So
thank you for saying that.
Yeah. So the other thing that we talked about at the break, which I think is somewhat profound, is that you're always looking to touch and to create connection with those who are your potential customers and clients. And social media is a way that you can do that. And you had talked a little bit about how the gifting side could be beneficial there. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. As we were talking about what's next for next year for 2023, we said, gosh, what's in your budget? How much are you planning to give next year? And what are you going to give to? And if you're looking in the mirror right now saying, well, I don't know what we're going to do, or we don't have anything like that in our budget, on Monday, walk in. It's the brand new year. It's the second. Like, go in and talk, or is it? Yeah, the second. Yeah. And go in and talk about, what should we do, guys? We got this great budget. I have a line item here for X amount of dollars. Where are we going to give? What are we going to do? time, treasure, what's the milestones you want to hit? And a great way, everyone's having problems recruiting right now. Talk about that on social media. This year, we're going to contribute to our local veterans. We want to help veterans in our community that are struggling. We're going to donate X every month. We're going to go shopping for groceries for them every month. We're going to take every Sunday to do that, and we're going to help them with cooking basics, right? Like, you can give them your time, your treasure, your talent. There's ways to do it, and talk about it on social media, because people that are passionate about that, Todd, they'll jump on board with that and want to work for a company that does that. It can be really, really something really big like that, where you're using all three: time, treasure, talent. It can also be you're just giving some money. Or you have once a month your team is going to volunteer together, and they're building culture, and they're all passionate because it's something they believe in.
You know, the last Saturday of every month, folks, we do these shows, Village Bank Radio, and we are offering what I think is a tremendous amount of information that can be utilized successfully, but only if it's implemented.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of the things that we talk about in passing as though they're minor issues, and many of you may be listening, you say, yeah, I already know about that. But see, that's irrelevant unless you're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you walk away from a radio show or a podcast like this, your goal is not so much that you heard it and maybe even that you retain it, but more importantly, that you implement it.
Implement it and reach out when you have a question. If there's something that I've said or Todd said that has sparked interest, don't just let it go. Otherwise, you're going to be sitting right back where you're at. Like, reach out to me, reach out to Todd, and ask the question. I think it's very, very important that you don't sit by in life and anything and just be quiet.
You can find our shows on Spotify and Podcast One, and you can go back to each last Saturday of each month and hear us talking about the things that we have, discussed in detail related to money and finance and banking and building and growing your company. These are invaluable podcasts, I believe. And so if you like one, well, take that on a journey and listen to those others that you've not heard in the past, and be prepared to take notes, and then be prepared to take action with the things that we talk about, because I think that you will find that the information we share is utterly useful if you take advantage of it. The reality is that anyone can succeed, but you actually have to do it. And so rarely do people actually have the courage to implement. So be that person, be that company, be that employee. The takeaway, I guess, from this is what, Alicia? How do we want our folks who are listening to come away from this show that we've done and be able to make change in their lives that is helpful and meaningful to them, their employees, and the people that they live and work with?
Mm-hmm. So if we think about what are our most valuable resources, it's our people, it's our culture. And it's great to have our core values. It's great to say, okay, these are our 5 village values. But what do those values mean, and what does your team and your employees believe? And then allow them the freedom, the grace to go do that and support them. That will build more culture than any other tool, fancy saying, branding, anything. Like, you get to know each other. You get to hear what's important to each other. You get to laugh next to each other. Imagine how much easier it is once the next time there's that fire drill at work. They're all going to know each other. They know their beliefs. They know what they think. They know what they believe, and they work real strong and hard together. I think it's like what happens outside the company, also what happened inside the company. And quite frankly, they know more. Collectively, we all know more than we do individually.
If you give them the latitude.
Yes, you have to give them the latitude. Buy them a beer, let them sit down and figure it out, and then give them some money or the time to go do it.
Let them talk to you about it.
Yeah,
give them the real stuff. So we are ending 2022 for all of you. I'm going to assume that you are going to be making plans to succeed in 2023. This show and its premise is that you understand the banking and finance side of it, and understand that more often than not, it's financing that's going to help you grow and scale your business. Mm-hmm. So remember Village Bank when you think about that, and remember that we are here to help you, and we hope that the information we've shared over the last couple of years has been helpful to you, and we so appreciate you. Thank you so much, Alicia, for being on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Well, Happy New Year, everybody. Bye-bye.
Hello, I'd like to talk with you about financial coaching. Traditional financial planners help you make decisions about stocks, bonds, and mutual funds with money you already have. That's great, but who helps you accumulate more money in the first place? Who helps you make day-by-day life decisions? Who isn't trying to sell you something? Like, should I go back to school? Am I wasting money on insurance? How to purchase and finance a car, boat, home, lake cabin, or investment property? How to start, manage, and sell a business? It's about making minor errors that become colossal mistakes and cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars over your lifetime. The problem is that you're so busy pursuing your career that you're forced to make critical financial decisions that have a dramatic long-term effect on your finances without adequate research or information. Rooker Financial Coaching is like having a personal CFO for every decision. Don't waste time lamenting the bad decisions of the past or money that's run through your fingertips. Stop procrastinating. Call Rooker Financial Coaching, 763-559-3800. That's 763-559-3800. Call me today, Todd Rooker, 763-559-3800. That's 763-559-3800.
This has been a paid program. The views expressed were not necessarily those of the management or ownership of KSTP AM 1500 ESPN.